Oh yes, welcome back to Marvel Contest of Champions News. Hello everybody, welcome back to the news. Yes, it has been a lovely weekend. I've actually come back from holiday, just finished the live stream, and this is a later edition of Marvel Contest of Champions News, but it's still in keeping a lot of stories that have happened and broke over the weekend, and also some that I forgot from Friday's edition, which was recorded on Thursday. In any case, whatever, let's just jump into the news stories that we have. The first story begins with a bug. There's several bugs that are still about in the game for different people on different platforms. Please make sure to go to the bugs and known issues, but also let Kabam know of your device and other such information. But it is disappointing to see a forum post like this being closed, especially considering that it doesn't really give the person an opportunity to let Kabam know the extent of what device they were using, and they're very much cut off right there and then. This particular one basically showcases that the way that the camera is situated, or the way that the champions drop in, well, I don't know if this is kind of dropping into the graphics. It's still pretty disappointing to see this. I would like to know a bit more about this, I think, as well. A lot of us, it's a bit of a disappointing, as I said, to have this closed. So it doesn't really give an opportunity to give that type of assessment and let them know whether or not this is Android, iOS, or any other type of specifics on the device. But hopefully there is an answer to this. If you're experiencing any issues, please make sure that when you're posting anything, put whether or not it's iOS and Android, and also the device that you're using, maybe the cellular information, and the other stuff that Kabam really want to know. Next up, and it looks like those that are level 1 to level 25 are getting some more catalysts that they can hold. Basically, the inventories only allow for a certain amount when you are very early on in your progression route of the game, but Kabam are allowing you to have extra amounts, which is really positive. So if you're a new player to the game, you're freshly starting, you're thinking about ranking up champions, but at the same time, you're kind of pushed to rank up ones based on the amount that you can hold, then this is good. This means you're allowed to hold it for longer, hold those catalysts for longer, and able to make a decision in the future as well. So this is the good news for new players that are coming into the game. In other news, what do you do with leftover antimatter when the event ends? Yes, antimatter, as you know, those antimatter crystals, 2 per crystal. When you ping over the crystal, it's meant to trigger a bounty mission. Hasn't happened for everybody, but there are cases where you've gone, right, well, I've pinged out this open. Is this open anything? No. And some cases there's been issues with the timer. Either way, what do we do with this leftover antimatter now that the event is coming to an end? And someone making a good point that leftover intel as well as randomizers will just be in your inventory for bloody ages and they won't have any kind of worth. In previous type of events, it meant that a lot of these kind of crystals or kind of intel or currency was able to be kind of transferred into being gold. So you go like, okay, so we get some gold for the purpose of selling those things. But it doesn't really seem to be the case. Command Friday says, pop open those crystals. Okay, well, what do I do about the ones left over? My fellow Alliance mates usually ping them open. I've been away for 4 days. I've barely done a bounty mission because I've been trying to get on with my life. So I'm gonna have leftover ones. What do I do with them? That's really the answer I think we're getting. We're not getting anything like, okay, they can be switched over. And it's gonna be something that we'll touch upon in a moment for a future story. So I guess we do nothing with these leftover antimatter crystals or antimatter in general. Okay, our next story, and I'm a little bit confused and I don't know whether or not I should be annoyed about this. So as you know, when the event went live on Wednesday, we had the Nameless Thanos. The Nameless Thanos, obviously for initial clear, like I even posted in the video, I made a load of mistakes in it, and it's good because people then learnt from those mistakes and then weren't spending quite as much on revives as I was in order to get through the content in a quick process. Do bear in mind, I was trying to get out the door to go on holiday, so I was getting ready for the content and make sure I was getting it out quickly. So there's not really too much time to focus, but I had to do it as quickly as possible. To kind of find out that Nameless Thanos wasn't really working properly or was working unfairly for me does make me feel a little bit salty about putting up those revives for getting through that content, especially with a quick and initial clear. This was posted 2 days ago, and especially kind of saying that there was aspects where timers should have been a bit more extended, and also the way that champion maybe is meant to be a bit fair does make you kind of think, right, well, what's going to happen now? Are we going to lead to some sort of compensation? Because this really wasn't working intended as being fair. And let me just point out the fact that the community hasn't really made so much of a big deal, and we haven't talked too much about the idea of compensation for last month's doozy, because let's just face it, the month of April was just a complete scuffed month. And have we received anything in shape and form of compensation for the lag issues, which cost people a lot of their revives, which obviously people would have spent money on units to get through content? No, we haven't heard anything, so it would be nice to hear something back. But let's focus on this matter, the Nameless Thanos. With the fix being posted 2 days ago, and as well with a lot of players even saying that people were fronting up huge amounts of unit packs in order to get through, and I think I went through a good chunk of units in order to do this, and it was a case I was down to 0, so yeah, fun times, eh? At this point, talking about whether or not I was going out on holiday and also rushing through the content and other piddly crap, the fact is I love this kind of deep dive or kind of analysis on the situation by Serious Break. It is really cool, actually. This kind of epitomizes everything where Kabam should be accountable for the situation of this. And like I said, with the extent of time available, also rushing through the content, doing it on day one, I do like this analytic way of looking at things. So if you get a time, well, I've got a link in the description. Go and take a look at this. I really do like this. But let's talk about and try and get to the point of, are we going to actually receive any kind of compensation for this? Vidius does say that he'll take it to the game team and see whether or not there's going to be anything that comes back from this. And I don't really know if there will be. There's also some people talking below that do reference the fact that maybe we shouldn't and maybe it's fair. But I mean, it's a very, very confusing subject. But let me just state the fact that yes, people will rush to get content done. Yes, they will pick up on bugs that then are there, and whether or not they get fixed, that's the next thing. Kabam have already said that this is going to be something that they consider to be a bug of some kind, and it was something that has been addressed on the 27th of April. So whether or not this is actually fixed is another thing, but Kabam are very secure on the fact that that has been fixed, whatever they feel that the problem would be. So the champion is a little bit more tolerable. Either way, because I don't really have an idea, I may go back into fight that champion again, or maybe not. The fact is, a lot of people are finding it a little bit more tolerable, especially learning from other people's mistakes, which is really positive, and I'm glad that people are doing that. Hopefully receive something of a compensation, or they'll look into it fairly shortly. Keep locked to the channel because I'll give you more updates on the situation as it transpires. Okay guys, next up, and I want to talk about Arni 2. That was being brought to my attention a couple of days ago that he made the decision that he might be stepping away from the game, that may go into a permanent goodbye. And I'm kind of bummed about this because I do like Arni 2, especially because he's done a lot of effort for the community with an Alliance Wars diversity tool that he recently put out. Also, great content is being put up by his channel. There's also been times where we've featured his stories on Marvel Contest Champions news, and I quite like him. He does regularly come to my live stream, so I'm pretty gutted about that to see him leave the game. And obviously, this is becoming more of a regular thing. And he does a lot of points he does raise about Marvel Contest of Champions and the way it kind of functions. April has been a big killer for people, and it has been a bit of more of a motivator for key people to decide to leave the game, especially Marvel Contest of Champions YouTubers. So if you could do me a solid and go to the link in the description, go over to his channel, give him some love and support on this particular video, and just listen to the stuff that he has to say. He does point out this little bit of audio issues, but apart from that, if you could just read the message and kind of understand the message that he has and he's trying to talk about, that would be great. But a lot of the times it's talking about the camaraderie of the game and the fact that we do try and make ourselves more positive about the game at times when maybe the luck's been trollish, or the fact that there's been content that hasn't run smoothly, lag and other type things. So yeah, always club together guys and show your love and support for Arni 2. On to our next story, and did you know that server stability is all based on, or partly based on, crystal openings, or crystals that have been in for a long time and need to be opened? Yes, this is the new story that I bring you, that Kabam are auto-opening old crystals. I know, this is the point we've come to, people. This has got to be addressed. As said in a previous video, Kabam don't like you hoarding crystals. Yes, do not hoard your shards, do not hoard your crystals. Even if you're a YouTuber hoarding a huge amount for the purpose of opening, don't hoard. Very, very naughty. Don't do it. Various lists of crystals can be found here in the link in the description, and it will take you over. There's so many there. I mean, I was looking out for Brian Grant's egg crystal, as well as a whole host of different ones, because as you know, he's been sitting on egg for a long time. It's practically prehistoric, and I don't know why it hasn't hatched into some sort of dinosaur beneath his bootay. but you never know. You never know what's going on with Brian nowadays. But the fact is, there's a lot there. Ultimate crystals are in the list. There's a huge host on there. So if you've got any of these, do be warned, they're probably going to be popped open at some stage. I'll probably go straight into inventory, where they'll go to wither away and die. This comes to the point where we talked about earlier, and we're talking about now. Has this reached a double standard then? If there's server stability that is sorted out by crystals being popped open and kind of removed, then what of these other items here? Do these other items have any bearing on server stability? So the randomizers. You've also got antimatter, which will probably be for a lot of players still in there in abundance. I know I've got a lot of antimatter because other alliance members are able to pop it open quicker than me. And also, like, when it finishes, I've either got to be the first one to do it in order to get the bounty mission opened. Same thing with like currencies like Intel, when we've had Valor in there. The list goes on of other things like tokens and other things that could be here. That would that cause a bearing and have any issues with server stability, which Kabam experienced with crystals. This is very much a double standard, going like, well, what about the other thing? Are there other stuff as well they're not considering? Obviously, for those that want an opinion on the matter, unfortunately, the forum post has been closed, as most things do. But yeah, there have been people that voiced concern. I mean, I do agree that at some point they do have to be open. For those that are hoarding a huge amount, I don't know if you're doing it for video usage or any other purpose, but maybe this is the point to open them up. But I think there could be some people that maybe have dead accounts that they don't really use, and it has them on there. But yeah, I mean, I do agree they've got to be taken away if they are causing any kind of server issues. But there are other things causing issue as well that or could be having an issue. Bear in mind there's a lot of different things, from currencies to random items, that could be causing exactly the same. So yeah, is this one of many things not being addressed? Is there a specific reason this has been addressed? But we're very excited to hear your thoughts. Put them in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on this matter? And on to our final story, which is the cutoffs. Yes, the arena cutoffs for Venom the Duck as well as Star-Lord. So if you're picking yourself up a 5-star version, 28mm is what you need to put up. Just 5mm for the 4-star version, which is low, which is kind of good as well for a lot of players. And Venom the Duck dropping very low at 1.8mm. Didn't expect that. The fact is, for the round 2, and obviously with new content coming in, this could be the reason that people are focusing more on the content rather than going for these champions. So I'd probably say the same amount. 30mm would be enough for the 5-star version of Star-Lord. About 5mm, maybe even 5.5mm to be safe for the 4-star version of Star-Lord. And Venom the Duck, man, if you want to put in 2mm, I think 2mm is going to get him. So it seems a pretty sound lock-in really to get this champion. And I think a lot of people are going to get him. So, you know, props to you if you got him at the weekend, and hopefully your round 2 grind is good. For those that want predictions, they are below at the moment. So that has been your slightly later edition of Marvel Contest of Champions news, and hopefully you're going to have a lovely week, whatever you're doing. I'm back on the grind tomorrow. I'm back at it. So live stream at 1900 hours GMT. I'll be there. Hopefully you're there as well. Look forward to seeing you. Thanks very much for watching. I've been RichTheMan. Like, share, and subscribe, and I shall catch you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.